Welcome to Boxing Fans Talk TV. I'm your host, TDT. You can refer to me as Miss T or just plain OTT. And I'm back. I've been gone for a minute, but I'm just pretty much getting back. And y'all saw the thumbnail. Terence Crawford exposed the PBC, Spence, and others for the lies they tell. But we're going to get into that and maybe some other stuff. But first, y'all know the drill. Let's turn to. Welcome back. Welcome back. It's Boxing Fans Talk TV. I'm your host, TDT. As I said, you can call me Miss T or just plain OTT. And y'all know, in my humblest voice ever, I always ask you to hit the like, share, and subscribe button. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. But do hit the like and share button. I'll repeat that throughout the program. But y'all know at the top of the hour what we do, water check, water check, water check. Well, yeah, I've kind of fell off today. I didn't drink enough water today. But after all, tomorrow is another day. And so I will be drinking shooting for 100 ounces of water per day. And I advocate that everyone drinks at least 100 ounces, at least. If you can get up to a gallon, which is 128 ounces, go for it. Anybody who's pretty much 16 and up should be drinking like a gallon a day. You can, but they recommend that you drink half your body weight in ounces of water. That makes sense when you're a little fella. But if you're a person that's 200 or 300 pounds, not 200, but 300 pounds or something like that, there's a such thing as overkill. So you want to be careful when you're drinking water because you can hurt yourself doing that too. But in these days of time, nobody should be dehydrated. And I'm not a doctor, but this new notion that babies, even, you don't need to feed them water, I would say disregard that. That's my opinion. Because if you're a living thing, you should drink water. But then, I don't know why they say that now. Because, even like small animals when they're babies, like let's take a dog or a cat, for example. They don't really drink water. They stay on milk but they don't stay on milk forever. But either way, I don't think water can hurt you. At least give your babies an ounce of water, to help with threshing, all that other kind of stuff, and keeping everything flowing good in their system. Don't just give them any water, though. Don't Don't give them no tap water or nothing like that. They got sterile water that they sell, unless they stop selling that. I'm out of the baby business. That shop been closed a long time ago. But anywho, drink your water. And if you're not a big water drinker, drink at least twice a day. First thing in the morning before you get your routine going. Whatever your routine is, before them toes hit the ground, drink you some water. You should have water sitting on the nightstand ready to go. 8 ounces at least. If you think of your body as an engine, the water is the lube. Get things moving, chugging along pretty good. Help things be efficient and move correctly and smoothly. The second time is at night before you go to bed. Get out the shower, go on and put your PJs on. Drink you some water. I know you're going to read an article, a magazine, or maybe you read a book. Maybe you look at a program before you just go off to sleep. The American Heart Association agrees that you should drink at least 8 ounces of water before you go to bed. There's a lot of reads going on. Rebooting, recharging, revamping, recleaning. A lot, going on at night in a deep sleep. Not a cat nap, but a deep sleep. And a fun fact is the average person burns between 900 to 1,000 calories at night in their sleep. That's a deep sleep, not again, as I say, a cat nap or a quick little closing of the eyes. But you need that. You need that for the morning. It's going to help things move. Because y'all know what we do when we first get up in the morning. All of that helps. So please, 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 please drink your water, And if you drink it at least twice a day, go on and add a third bottle of water. I buy my bottles of water in 8 ounces. You know what I'm saying? And I drink spring water. I don't drink still. I've heard people say they do that. Don't do that. That ain't the business. But I don't drink tap anymore. And really, why I started turning to bottled water, it was so many years ago. I'm talking in the 90s. I went overseas, and the thing is, when you go to different countries, you are not acclimated to how they serve their water, their other drinks, their food. So if you a person who got like a cast iron stomach or inside, I guess you can take chances. But if you're a person that got sensitivity at times, no matter how mild or severe it can be, you don't want to take a chance. You're better off just drinking spring water. You know what I'm saying? Just regular old spring water. So that's how I got into drinking bottled water. But as I said, I buy them in 8 ounces because if I buy 16.9 ounces, which is the regular size bottled water, which equates to 2 cups of water, I wind up drinking half anyway. And then I don't finish it. And I leave it sitting around. But I promise you I ain't coming back to it. I like my water cold. I also advocate that people get a refrigerator that's about, I say no bigger than 36 inches high, like waist high. And, keep your cool, refreshing drinks, fruits or whatever in there so that you don't have to trek all the way to the kitchen. Because if you go to the kitchen in the middle of the night, who knows what else you're going to get into. So you want to break habits like that, having water and stuff in your room. And in case you're wondering, no, having a little mini fridge in your room does not increase your electric bill. I mean, it's not going to change it that much. So I think it's a plus to have a small refrigerator. And they sell them in like cube shapes or, like I said, 36-inch high refrigerators, mini fridge. So drink your water. Now hit the like, share, and subscribe button. Again, if you've already subscribed, you locked in. You don't have to subscribe no more. Just do it once. But do hit the like and share button, especially when you're in here. Lean on my leasy when you step into my heezy. Basically, hit the like button when you step into my square circle. And I come on every day, Monday through Friday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's Monday through Friday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't give a care what the thumbnail say, because sometimes that thumbnail say 11:30, and I don't know why, like 11:30 p.m. But if I'm not here, I got good reason. I'm either not home, I'm into something I can't get out of, or I got prior engagements or whatever. Also, if you have any questions about anything that I talk about here, or you want to make a comment, you can reach me at boxingfanstalk@gmail.com. That's boxingfanstalk@gmail.com. I get back to you as soon as I can. Also, leave a comment when you're watching the replay and all that. So, and my Cash App is on the side, Boxing Fans Talk TV, and that's Boxing Fans Talk TV. So all the Cash Apps that you send go right back into the show, and I appreciate them all. So, yes, let's get into it. I have been gone. Y'all know that I went to a funeral, and I had to bury, well, we was there to lay to rest my nephew. He was, like my child. I felt like I loved him like my child. He was like what I would call my twin. I ain't gonna dwell on it, but everything went well. Everything was done right, and I'm back now. So I just take it one day at a time. Thank you for all the well wishes. There might be a day when I just don't have it in me to come on, but I'm taking it one day at a time. And I thank you guys for your patience and understanding. But let's get into this, okay? Shall we? So I have been watching some of my favorite shows. Hold on, I dropped something. Hold up. I've been watching my favorite shows, and I've been listening. And I've been listening to other shows. And I've been listening to the narratives and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, what in the world is going on? What in the Sam hell is going on? But when I heard that Bud Crawford was going to come out and do a Twitter thing live where he's going to break down and explain this mishap to the American public and to the world, for that matter, I was like ecstatic. I was so ecstatic. This was me. Hold on. This was me.
I told you that boy's sick. This is demon powder.
This is not my content. It's for educational purposes only. To show how I felt. I was. Go on there, Carter.
Now, he touched that, he died.
Oh, boy.
Nobody knows.
That's all I'm going to show her that. Because it's a movie that came out in 81 called Modern Problems. That mess was funny when it came out. But that's how I was thinking. Like, oh, my God. Bud is going to box them in. He's going to reveal the truth. And he's going to show all the tomfoolery that's been going on. And I was like, he needs to do it. He should do it. Because it needs to be said. Now, first I'm going to tell you that a lie can come in all kinds of forms and ways. So an omission is a lie. I don't give a care what y'all say. An omission is a lie. Not correcting people who are either bold-faced lying or got the story wrong is also lying. And this is one of a couple of issues. I don't have many issues with Errol Spence, but this is one of a couple of issues that I have with him. So Bud felt the need that he had to come out and set the record straight in his clear, hustable voice. Let the record show that blase, blah, blah. And Bud did a good job. He talked about a lot of things. I know a lot of you have already seen his live tweet or his live, him going live on Twitter. And I think he addressed a lot of issues. And there was a lot of nuggets that he dropped. But there's one in particular I'm going to concentrate on. And I'll get to that in a second. But he dropped some nuggets. Now, if you looking at this situation and just going by the facts, I personally do not see the big deal of Bud doing what he did. I don't see how other people can't understand it. Every last one of us, especially if you're a considerable age, have been in the predicament where you are waiting on something, let's say a job. It don't start till whenever, but in the meantime, in between time, you had to do something to make ends meet. It don't mean that you conflicted with the job that's being offered to you or that you may get. It don't mean you are beholden to a job you haven't started yet. And I'm gonna give you a quick example. Capson Full G was popping king. What's good, Queen? He said, what's good, Queen Lady T? What's good? Let me give you an example. When I retired, I didn't want to do the job that I did in the military. Didn't want to do it no more. But I have medical issues, so I had to pick a job that's conducive for my medical issues. Because sometimes I have to be rushed. I take myself, but I have to go to the ER a lot. So I needed a job that could understand that wasn't that critical, that I could and was close enough where I can go handle my business. And that was hard because my skills are what they are. But I knew I wasn't going back to that job. So I went to school first, finished off my degree, and then I started applying for jobs. Now, while I was waiting for those jobs, I applied to be a substitute teacher. Okay? Now, I had some favorable looks. I got some callbacks and interviews. But while I'm waiting for that, let me do something in between time. You know what I'm saying? The job that was acting like they was going to hire me or whatever, I'm not beholden to them. So when I did the substitute teacher thing, I had to go through like I call it like a little seminar where you had to know the do's and the don'ts or whatever. But when I did that class, it wasn't in time for the school year we were in at the current time. I had to wait till the new school year started. Now they pay you, just in case anybody want to be a substitute teacher. They pay you according to the level of your education. For me here in Georgia, it was, I think, $65 or $70 a day. And that's what they would pay you, which was decent. Had I got a job, that's probably, a job that I, just got a regular job outside of the job I was skilled for, then I probably could have been making that much anyway. Plus, you could pick when you want to do it. Sometimes people will request you, but most of the time it's you going online, picking, you want to go to this school or that school, substitute, whatever. And sometimes you get a rapport with whoever you substitute for. That's neither here or there, but you get my drift. But until that job started, what was I going to do in the meantime and in between time? So I have little hustles. Like right now, my daughter's going to get married in a couple of years. I've already started my little side hustles. And I wrote 4 papers in the last couple of months for somebody, for some people. And I made $1,500. I can't go in depth about it, but yeah, I wrote papers for them. And they paid me. They paid me for my time, my research, and whatever. But that's, that's a little side hustle. That's savings, That's what I can do in the meantime and in between time. And it ain't that, I pump them out pretty quickly, depending on the subject. And that's cool. But that's me doing something in the meantime, in between time. And if you can understand that, because we all have been faced with that type of dilemma, then you understand exactly what Bud did. Because fact number 1, PBC or Errol Spence, without adding any negative connotation to the name PBC or Errol Spence, the fact remains that they did not want to fight or have a fight between Errol Spence and Terence Crawford this year. Now, what they want to do next year and in the years ahead, That's different. This year, it was decided and evidently clear that there will not be no fight. You can hear that in that so-called leaked conversation with Errol that we, January, we was thinking January, but then PBC was like February, and Floyd was like later in the first quarter. All of three of those answers were 2023. And if they are not the ones who know, then who knows? Bud knew. But if you don't want to believe Bud, then you take Errol's account, take PBC's account, take Floyd himself account. It wasn't going down this year. So if Bud is a free agent, and I don't care if he was a free agent for 20 days, 5 years, 2 months, or whatever, he's a free agent now. He's his own boss. And when he enters in a fight, he's entering into a contract or a partnership with whoever he's working with. Again, you don't want to take his word for it. Take Errol Spence, PBC, and Floyd's word for it, because they said it too. And I will offer in this court, the court of public opinion, Exhibit 1, Errol Spence leak convo. And Floyd Mayweather's his statement on, I think it was Fight Hub or one of those places, where he said, if it don't come from me or Fight Hype, don't believe it. And take PBC word for it. So that's Exhibit 1, because that is a fact. It's not up for discussion. It's a damn fact. Okay? Second of all, I do want to speak on that conversation. It was grainy. It was not clear. We don't know who he was talking to. I don't know. We don't know when it was taken. And these two things matter. This information is needed to help put these things in context. We don't know who he was talking to, and we don't know when it was taped. Okay? So I'm going to say this about it. Either we believe that the person taped Errol Spence unknowingly, which is fucked up. Let me be the first to say it. Which is highly fucked up. Not right, not fair, and fucked up to do. To tape this man unknowingly and then proceed to leak it. Because it either happened like that, or Errol Spence knew he was being taped, and either he leaked it, or he knew he put it in motion to be leaked. That's kind of crazy, because you got to ask, what's your motive if that's the case? But if anybody taped him unknowingly and then leaked it, you're a fucked up individual. And there should be consequences to that. But that's Exhibit 1. Exhibit 2 is Bud's tweet last night, or his live tweet, which I just showed y'all how ecstatic I was when I heard that was coming on. I was like, oh boy. I was like, get him. Because I knew he was going to drop nuggets. So let's go through it, shall we? So remember the rumors, y'all. Folks know who they are, who spreaded those rumors about all this shit dealing with the Errol Spence and Terence Crawford fight. I don't have to name you by name. I don't want to name you by name. You know who you are. Because some of it is factual, or it seems factual, because they haven't been debunked. But some of it is not true. Okay? 65-35 was factual. No guarantee was factual. His lawyer that he didn't like, sorry, I think that was a lie. I don't even know what the motivation for even talking about that. The Terence Crawford didn't like his lawyer, say he didn't get enough. I don't know shit about that. So I'm going to call it a lie. Terence Crawford didn't sound like he said in that tweet. And maybe I got to look at it again. But it don't sound like he said, I wasn't happy with my lawyer. So I got another lawyer and blah, blah, blah. I don't think he even went into that. So I have to take that one with a grain of salt. This notion that Bud needed PBC and Errol when it's the other way around, for real. Bud has shown now that he didn't need him. But we always knew that. People like me, E. Thriller, the Mac Mob, Rebel Life, other folks out there, too many to name. We always knew that he didn't really need them. They needed him. Or they needed each other. But it won't no one-sided thing. This shit about the 2-fight deal or a 3-fight deal, etc. That shit was never in play. You talk about a man that gets shitted on, devalued, his character assassinated on a regular, disrespected by PBC, but he's going to put his career in their hand. They're not even showing that they got his best interest at heart right now, but that is something that he wants to do, right? Give them, sign his rights and his ability to, run his own career, or give his career, give PBC the power to affect his career in any kind of way. So yeah, Bud Crawford, I'm being sarcastic. Yeah, it was just biting at the bits to sign a 2-fight deal. That makes sense to nobody but people who don't like Bud and want to see him fail. Anytime Bud makes a move that's a smart move, I'm starting to see that folks want to say it's the dumbest shit they ever seen. He's stupid, blah, blah, blah. And it don't never come out to be that. Remember, he was the dumbest motherfucker signing with Top Rank, but he was also the highest paid welterweight signing with Top Rank. Then they'll say, well, why he suing him? Again, we can't say and stress this enough. The motherfucker didn't honor up to a part of the contract. That's why. Simple as that. We ain't say everything was bad. It was that. But PBC and Errol Spence act like Terence Crawford did the most egregious thing by being with Top Rank, and they required him to leave Top Rank. That's going to make things better. But it didn't. It still hasn't made it better because they still with the shit. And I think that they thought that Bud was just a person that just let somebody that just gets strung along. So him leaving Top Rank covering was a way that they could get at him and really dog his ass out. But it turns out Bud was smart after all. Like I said, after all, he was the highest paid welterweight in this era. And people say, what about the back end? Well, I cannot count shit I don't see. And guarantee is way better than a maybe. Because that's what the back end is, a maybe. You have to reach a benchmark before they can even start saying you get that split. If the back end come in and it didn't even reach their benchmark, you ain't getting no back end. That's why we said that without them giving a guaranteed up front, then you basically asking him to fight for free. And why would you ask somebody of his caliber to fight for free? Why would you do that? What would be the motivation to do that? You didn't ask Danny. You didn't ask Ugas. You didn't ask Porter. You didn't ask Mikey Garcia. You didn't ask none of them to fight for free. But Terence Crawford, you're going to ask to fight for free? And expect him to just be like, okay. But no, he saw y'all a mile away. But the most egregious thing on that on Bud's part was the one thing that I knew was a lie straight off the dick. Off the motherfucking dick. I knew this was a lie. That he was pricing himself out. Or he was asking for too much money. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember that circulating? That is the one nugget that I would concentrate on more than the other ones, because Terence Crawford showed y'all for the liars that y'all were. A lot of YouTube channels came out and said he's asking for 25. We said, well, what Earl is asking? None of the folks that said that was close to Crawford's team. Couldn't get an interview with Crawford if they tried. Maybe they don't want to. I ain't saying they don't, that they wanted to, but I'm just saying they was nowhere near close to the team to get any information. Any. Not alone to know whether or not he was asking for 25 million. What? And that's what they roll with. They never did come out and say what Earl was asking for. And as soon as I heard that, I knew it was a lie. I dare anybody to come in here and tell me that don't make sense. Or go against what I'm saying. How am I saying this? I dare anybody to come in here and try to explain why would you know that Terence Crawford was asking for 25 million, but you didn't know what Earl was asking for. How did you know that as a fact? And it's one thing to say, I believe, I thought, I heard, he was asking for 25 million. No, they were saying it as a matter of fact. Terence Crawford was asking for 25 million. He pricing himself out. How stupid can he be? And then here come the name calling. But what did we find out last night? Asking for or being offered is two different things. What did Terence say? He had two hedge fund companies or two backings of company or people, whatever, who was offering, came to him. They didn't go to Earl. They didn't go to Al. They came to him offering 25 million or 20 plus million. So how you get offering and where you get that information from, and then how you turn it into he was asking Al. Because he also said he went to Spence with it. And the first thing Spence had to say, what about the back end? Nigga, you have never seen 25 million guaranteed straight up. What the fuck? Of course, the back end gonna be even sweeter. Even if it won't 25 million, Earl, the most you ever got that I saw was 2 million. This will be 23 more million. So Earl already showing that he gonna walk with. Let me ask Al, what's the ask? What you need to ask? 25 is more than 2. That ain't nothing to ask about. That sounds a lot more like, hey, make that shit happen. Let's me and you go to Al and Floyd and them and make this shit happen. Earl went silent, as Terence said, to the point that he felt he had to go to Al and pitch it to Al. But Al was on some, I don't want to take these people money. Now we ain't gonna let nobody handle that fight. Now Al is pissing around them too, like he mocking his territory. Now think about that for a minute. Tim Smith said he don't want to disrespect Terence, and even though they didn't offer him shit back then, but we don't have the money to pay him, We can't afford to ask too much. People gonna stream, still a fight anyway. But we don't want to disrespect him and give him a number that he ain't used to or whatever. Okay, so it's a money thing. This is what they try to say, economics. It's a money thing. Al trying to tell Terence, we still don't hear what he told Errol. We assume Errol gonna get his usual. Because that's all you can do. Because Errol been with him so long, he's gonna get his usual, which is a purse and upfront money. But Terence Crawford can't get shit. He can't get nothing up front. So, and they blame economics. So if you're going to blame economics, keep the same energy. Stick to your story. And I'm going to show y'all why it's bullshit. How did PBC get their start in the first place? Didn't they take other people's money and launch their whole organization? Wasn't their whole organization predicated off the, call it donations, call it what the fuck you want to call it investments or whatever, but other people's money. So now Al Heyman is above taking the motherfuckers' money. They came to Terrence like, we are willing to invest in y'all too, and give both of y'all 25 apiece. That sounds like a win to me. Al still can make some dollars off it without even putting no money into it. But now all of a sudden, he's a proud man. He don't take handouts. How does that make sense to anybody? I would challenge anybody to come in and explain that one, because it don't make sense. Once you do something once, you can't come back later and get brand new and act like that ain't what you do. That's not what we do. Nigga, you been doing it. You been doing it. And I have to say, we have to do a dumpster dive as to where that trash came from or originated from. And I'm talking about this narrative that Terrence asked for $25 million. Sound more like he was offered. The word asked and offered are two different words. But you interchange them and you change the whole meaning of the sentence. Sounds like Terrence went out and got it. Then you think about the sign the contract, big boy, sign the contract. Or Terrence need to just make the fight. Terrence need to send the contract. But I thought Big Fish was the A side. I thought he was the person that's supposed to generate that. I even heard one person say, who the fuck did Terrence think he is? Coming up there, like Big Willie, I guess, and trying to say, look, I got this money for you or whatever. Isn't that what everybody been clamoring for him to do? Send the contract? Well, he not the A side. No, PBC should initiate that. If you ain't gonna be taken seriously, if we are to believe what some of these content creators say, who the fuck you think you are, then he shouldn't send a contract. Because he's what? Nobody. And I do air quotes when I say that. So he shouldn't be sending the contract. But excuse Terence Crawford for going out to get the bag, if the bag was the issue all along. But now, what he has proven, that it ain't about the economics. It ain't about the money. Don't be telling me this. It ain't about the money. Because if it was about the money, I would have been like, who that? Who wanted with lean? Who want to give up 25 a piece? Who that? Let me know. He'd have made that. That's even more, less risk and less money he got to put out. It still would be a PBC production. He still will make money even though he didn't put up shit. Now, They said that they're investing 25. How these folks spend the 25 is another thing. Because we know a fight card going to have many people on the card. Maybe, just maybe, PBC can handle their pay. It ain't going to be as much as Earl and Bud's, but maybe he can handle all the undercard members. But you turned down potentially $50 million, but you had $50 million to give to Canelo, and then you offered him again another 100. Where you getting your money, Al? If you taking money from other people, what's the difference? There ain't no difference. Who conflated ask and offer? Who is that originator of that? Because that person lied. There's no other way to say it. There's no nice way to say it. And they said it like they had it on authority. So who was feeding you that lie? Was it your boy Errol? Or somebody who represent Errol on the low key? Who was it? And why would you tell the public like it's a matter of fact? What is up with their sources? Inquiring minds want to know. Were they being lying or be fed? Were they lying or were they being fed lies? And if so, who is feeding the lies? Mind you, Errol never came out ever that I saw. And if he did, I stand corrected. Never did he ever come out and debunk that lie. So that makes him a liar. Again, you can be a liar by omitting things. And you can be a liar when you see that the truth ain't out there and it's concerning you or something you're affiliated with and you don't correct it. You're lying at that point. This is my issue with Errol Spence, because that happens a lot and often. D-Ray Promotions is in the building. Was popping, King? That was the biggest nugget of the night for me, along with the other nuggets that Terence Crawford talked about in his tweet. He broke down how the negotiations pretty much went. And based on that, all of them was lying. But I know. Everybody gonna say, well, who is Terence Crawford? Why should we believe him? The people who don't want to believe him won't believe him. But point to when he said something that was absolutely a lie. And then do the same thing for Errol. I just showed you. Two examples. The $25 million that Terence Crawford was supposed to ask for. Motherfuckers was in an uproar for that. They was in an uproar for that. They was like, how could he ask for that? Who the fuck do he think he is? He think he Terence Crawford. Well, when I heard that, I said, okay, if that's true, because I don't never hear, we heard all kinds of leaks and negative shit about Terence, just nothing about Earl. So you already know that was some operative shit. But even if you believe that to be true, okay, if Terence Crawford asked for 25, then Earl had to be asking for 50. Or maybe 30 or 35. Because he's the big fish after all. But nobody will put that out. And then come to find out, Terence, not Earl, not the PBC, they came to Terence. Because even though the PBC and Earl and all his fans and some of these content creators don't put no value in Bud Crawford, whoever was bringing that money due, whoever was bringing that money felt that Terence Crawford had some value. Our money is in the building. Was popping, King. He said, Miss T, what's up? And I'm like, y'all niggas wonder why people go hard on Earl. Earl could have came out and said, that's some bullshit. Y'all stop that. Because what did Terence say too? I called Earl about the offer. And Earl sat back and watch his friends or whoever spread that motherfucking lie. He ain't say not one word. He's a liar. And the truth ain't in him. Because Terence never asked for $25 million. He was offered, and that's a difference. And I'm going to keep saying that shit because, they took that and ran with it. And that was some bourgeois bullshit. A front row seat to some bullshit. Then it said, Bud said, like I said, he had 2 companies that was willing to put it up. He talked to Earl. He talked to Al. Both of them walked away. Pretty much. Both of them walked away. Not interested. Well, fuck, I just solved your money problem. And see, when things get like this, when you get to the crux and the root and the nook and crannies of a situation, and you find out some shit like this, then I can safely say it won't never about the money. So now PBC and Earl, you got to tell us, what is it really about? Are you scared? Is it too much of a risk? We know that PBC got issues with finding a network. Fox is pretty much done. We know Terence Crawford is in partnership with Fox, a.k.a. Bally Sports. Showtime might be out the picture for them too. So what they gonna do? Share the zone with Eddie and Golden Boy? What they gonna do? Mayweather Promotion alone does not have a network. So now you got a roster full of guys and you ain't got nowhere to show them. Tell me how that work out. How far that's gonna go. And I'm not shitting on PBC when I said it. We talking facts. We know that their contract with Fox is pretty much done. We know that Showtime is being restructured because Paramount is taking over and Showtime is owned by CBS. We know that there's going to be a major change and it might not be favorable to the PBC. So what's their plan B? You mad because Bud always have a plan B, C, and D? Okay? And if Bud was told by everybody that you and Spence are not fighting this year, what you really mad at? Because if you go back to that leaked conversation, what did Errol say? Now we never gonna fight. Basically, he tore his draws. He said that, and I want y'all to remember, he said that shit before yesterday. So don't, to the Errol sexuals, don't try to come back now and say it's all because of Bud doing what he did. He done tore his draws with PBC. He tore his draws with PBC a long time ago. Again, when was that tape with that conversation? When was that taped? When did that conversation actually happen? And with whom? Because we know it didn't happen when it was leaked. We know it had to be, 2 weeks to a month before that. And if he was saying 2 weeks to a month before that leaked conversation, then that means you knew all along that that fight wasn't happening in 2022. So again, I dare any Errol fan to come in here and explain how is Crawford taking a fight with David Avanesian affecting the bottom line of what PBC, Earl, and Floyd said they don't want the fight till next year. How does his fight in December affect anything in 2023? If somebody can come in and logically explain that shit, then cool. Don't come in here and say people don't fight month to month, because they can. They don't. Some people don't, but they can. And there's fighters on the record who have done that. Floyd Mayweather being the prime example. For the first couple of years of his career, he damn near fought every month. There's a couple of times he fought more than once in a month. Oh, I'll do you one better. Go look at the beginning of Ryan Garcia's little come up. And y'all know I don't like him. He was fighting all the time. Every month, every other month. So don't say that they can't fight from month to month. Now, we do know if you like break your hand or something like Tank did and Deontay did or whatever, they be out for some months. We also know if you get cut or if you get a concussion, there's things that can happen to you in a fight that can sideline you. But if you real about yours and you confident about yours, you don't count that as potentially happening. If that's the case, Floyd wouldn't have had the record he had with the dates that he had. Ryan wouldn't have had the record he got with the dates that he had. It's just as simple as that. So again, somebody explain to me how Terence taking the fight December 10th. And we all have to wait and see if it's real. True enough. I believe it. But I wouldn't be, I don't let nothing shock me. Because this boxing business is crazy right now. But I believe Bud will be fighting December 10th. And I do believe he would get 8 figures. And I don't know how much that 8 figures will be. It could be 10 million. It could be 15. Nobody said what it was. But we know at least it would be 10. So what you mad at, Errol? What you mad at, PBC? What you mad at, Errol sexuals? Or just Errol fans? What are you guys mad at? That Bud showed you that he has value. And in recent times, as of late, he done showed you 2 times how he has values. Well, 3. He had 2 people approach him to offer him 20 plus million. Him, not Errol. They didn't go to PBC. They didn't go to Errol. They didn't go to the Charlos. They went to Bud. Shows you how much they value him. It's 2 people. And he get a deal with BLK Prime and getting the biggest payday he ever had. Bigger than Errol. He was already high. He already got paid higher than Errol when he come to guaranteed money. Already. And he's getting more than what he ever did with Top Rank. Errol can't even catch what he was doing at Top Rank. Because Errol, I think his highest was 2 million. Maybe it was higher. I don't think so. But I've always seen 1.5, 2 million. Caps in full. It was 2 hedge funds companies that offered him. Al Heyman didn't take him up on his offer, and Errol Spence didn't take him up on his offer. And Bud said in his live that he went to both of them with it. They found a reason to say no. You got to explain to me, why would you turn down that money if it's about money? So if it's not about the money, then what's it about? Oh, I guess he didn't fit into your cookie cutting narrative of what he is and how much value he has. Turns out the man is smart. Turns out the man makes great business decisions. Good for him, at least. They're not terrible in the way that folks describe. But with any business decisions, you have your pros and your cons. And I'm sure he got his cons. But it ain't like how people describe it. See, the PBC may, in fact, be going broke. And if that's true, they need people like Errol, Charlos, and others to secure a network. They need. Cap said, make a guess who offered that money. Was it Jay-Z? Was it Warren Buffett? I don't know. I didn't know. He didn't say. D-Ray Promotion said ducking. This is what I mean, D-Ray. You still, after the facts are laid before you. Are you saying, wait a minute, let me be clear, D-Ray. Are you saying Bud ducking or Earl? I don't even have to get to that point of ducking. Bud brought some money. He went out and did the leg work, the big lifting, and got the money, and they both walked away from it. Oh, Warren Buffett. Can't argue with that. 25 million is a drop in the bucket for that dude. Bud said it was two people. We know Mayweather didn't offer it. Yeah, we know Mayweather didn't offer no money. They didn't want to pay Bud nothing. Cap said they closed and both from Omaha. Oh, they close. They close and both from Omaha. Yeah. I'm almost done. I'm gonna wrap this up and I'm gonna drop the link. Y'all can chop it up. I've been saying it since last year that Spence was not his own boss. And I know it's been getting a resurgence. And I'm not the first person that said it. But when I've been having this show for about a year and some months now. And from pretty much the jump, that was the narrative I wanted to debunk. And it won't even direct it at Errol. It was Errol and a couple of other people who love to say they're their own boss. And I was like, why do you say that? What's the point in saying it? I'm not mad at you if you is or if you're not. So what's the point of saying it? Because you're not. And think about this. PBC is nothing if they can't show their fighters. They need a network. They're going to be the only organization that you can't get no prime time with them. Why would any fighters want to stay with them or go to them? They ain't going to get no airtime. But yeah, that own boss shit, yeah, we pretty much secure that shit. We button down that shit on Errol Spence. He ain't never been his own boss. He do what his second daddy say, and that's Al Heyman. Y'all, it's like when people get on Deontay for turning down that fight, that money, that amount of money. And I was like, man, he had his reasons or whatever. Because he making the money or whatever. I'm not being biased here. Y'all know this Deontay country. But I can't remember his reasonings for why he walked away from that money. But hell, AJ walked away from money too. I don't get into rich people problems, but Terence Crawford and Errol Spence have not even cracked over 10 million guaranteed. Terence about to. Errol has never. Errol, I don't even think has cracked 5. So all that to say, where is Spence? Where is Spence a truth teller or an honest broker? Because that's what everybody like. He the truth. Where? He let his fans or these channels that rumor says that he pay. He let his fans, his friends, or channels that favor him spread lies without correction. Carte blanche, just without correction. So are we to believe he paid these folks? I mean, that's what the rumors say. Y'all never heard me say that on here, but I'm just showing you. I can't put that out. I don't know nothing about that. And I'm telling you, I don't know that is to be true. I'm telling you that I heard that like other people heard that as a rumor. But I'm not going to charge Earl up with that because we don't know if that's true. But just like I can say that, why he can't come back and say, ho, y'all way in left field with the 25 million. He didn't ask for that. Come on, y'all. Don't do that. What is that going to hurt, to be honest, like that? And he can do it since some of them guys got his number, and some people be his friends, and some people he know, some people he met. What is hard about saying that's not true? Or what is hard about putting the tweet out? Tweet everything else. That's not true, y'all. Don't do that. No, he gonna let that ride. He gonna let the world believe that Terence Crawford was asking for 25 million. So therefore he's pricing himself out. So therefore this is why we not getting the fight. Lying ass motherfucker. Look, I almost slammed some shit there. Lying ass motherfucker. That's who he is right there. Lying ass motherfucker. Y'all take a look at the Nutcracker. I told y'all he was cliquish, underhanded crap. That's cliquish, underhanded crap. Where's the truth and honesty in that? Where is the reprieve? Oh, you know what? This has been going on for months. Let me come back and recorrect some shit. Terence Crawford about to get the bag. Know a lot of people don't like it. I'm not upset. He didn't conflict with the fight. I mean, if PBC said it ain't happening till next year, Terence has a right to do what he want to do. Al does not own fucking Terence Crawford. Al is not Terence Crawford's superhero. He don't look up to Al like that. And the only thing I wish he didn't say in that tweet, that live, is that Al is a good guy. Al is a good guy. Sure, Al can be a good guy. Just don't say that. Because people will take that. They're going to be like, he said he was good. He said he was a good guy. And blah, blah, blah. You can be a good guy and do some dirty, fucked up shit too. Now, I'm saying, when y'all say Terence is dumb, he proved to y'all over and over again that he's not. So who is really the Toby now? Who is PBC Toby? Who is the slave now? Who is scared? Is it business that they scared of because it's too much of a risk? Or it's the fighter scared? Bud blasted all their asses, and he did it in the fashion that I call nice and nasty. It's not about the money that they don't have with PBC, because we already can see if a nigga bring you $25+ million, it ain't about the money, shawty. It's about something else. So just say what it is. Because Bud got the backing. You know, he cured the money issue by showing the backing. So what is it? Who's scared? Is it Al or is it Errol? And why don't Errol correct bullshit? And since when is Al Heyman or the PBC above spending or taking in other people's money? Isn't that how PBC got started in the first place? And with that, I'm going to go ahead and drop the link if you guys want to get in and talk your shit, swallow spit. D-Ray said fire. D-Ray said PBC had Bud on the shelf. That's what they was going to do, D-Ray. He would have been on the shelf, twiddling in his thumbs, and they wouldn't let him play in the reindeer games. That's exactly what would have happened. But I'm saying sometimes you got to ask questions. You got to get to the nook and cranny of things. Silence is not always golden, but it is. It depends on what you're trying to be silent about. When somebody is spinning, or telling a narrative on your behalf with your name affiliated, you want to make sure all of those things are correct and precise. Anybody would. Anybody should. So for Errol Spence to not give a care, I don't understand that. He looks, I can say he look at my show, but I know he looks at a lot of people's shows. So how does he not care? So, I mean, to me, what's the problemo? I put the link in the chat. Y'all can jump in. But, it's been a very interesting week. I'm proud of Bud. He going to go on to do bigger and better things with or without Errol Spence. You can't make a motherfucker fight you if he don't want to. Y'all got to realize, to these Errolsexuals, Bud is not beholden to PBC. He wouldn't side with them, just like he wouldn't side with the people who belittle him and put him down. He wouldn't go break bread with them. He wouldn't go over their house and eat dinner with them. When you show somebody you don't like them, they're not going to try to be in your company. That's just common sense. That's any of us. So why would he take his career, which has been somewhat good to him thus far, and put it in the hands of somebody who don't like him or think he doesn't have value at all? Why would he do that? That's what was killing me about that 2-fight deal, 3-fight deal. I never believed that shit. Ever. And look, the people who said it like it was a matter of fact, like he didn't have no choice. I think what a lot of people are mad at is because they thought they boxed him in the corner. He don't have no choice. He got to take it. And he showed you he do have a choice. He ain't going to make nothing without Errol. He just showed you he will. And he can. Where was Jerry Jones? Where Jerry Jones at? But I forgot he'll want to have it in Dallas. Errol Spence is requirements and needs do need to be considered, but he's not the only one who needs and desires need to be considered. It's two people in this. And I do believe Errol should get the lion's share. And I do believe that PBC, whether he fight Bud or not, should be treating him right. If you can give Caleb Plant $10 million. I don't want to hear no shit about Canelo. Errol has pulled his weight, didn't he? At PBC, hasn't he? So pay this man. What's up? Well, my boy D Ray is in the building. What's popping?
Chill. Boy, you is killing them. I appreciate you. I had to come pay homage to you.
Hey, thank you.
Miss T, but I want to go back to the last time I was on your show because you asked a question, right, that nobody could answer. Remember when they wanted them to do the job without knowing how much he was going to make?
Right.
And when obviously he knew, I can at least make this much right here, you know, at like 25 or 20 or whatever, or 10 if you want to cut it in half, or, you know, instead of pennies on the dollar, you know? Because I was just thinking that when you had brought that point up and nobody could come up with any job where they didn't know what they was going to make. And it was ridiculous for the people to try to push the narrative that he was being offered nothing, you know, because, and that's the thing though, is like what you said, is that it wasn't that he was asking for it, it was what he was already offered for. And that's a strong negotiating point. Go ahead.
What people gonna say is Bud is lying. Why did he gotta lie? You know, when my boy PGH, I love him. He comes in here. It's one of my regulars from day one. Love you, PGH. Shout out to you. And I respect your opinion. It's different from mine. But when PGH said, just send the contract, Bud, just sign it, whatever. Which one is it? Is Spence the big fish or is Bud the big fish? Which one is it? Because the big fish initiates the contract because they have the leverage, right? So when he kept saying that, I was like, no, Errol and the PBC need to send something out. Bud need to counter and this, that, and the other. But the problem with lying, you can get caught in a lie. If you making it about economics and the money and a motherfucker cures that for you, then what's it about? And you still don't play ball, then what is really about? What is really about? And I know that no aerosexual can ever come in and explain that because it's not about the money. So what is it about? What are you mad about? Because him fighting on December 10th has no bearing on next quarter in 2023. Well, people don't fight every month. Yes, they do. Go back and look at Floyd Mayweather's record. You want to see something, Karen? Go look at the beginning of Ryan Garcia's record. So they can miss me with that excuse. So what is it really about? Because obviously it ain't the money. Then you taking money from everybody else. Why you won't take this money? I thought money was green. You know, I don't know. What you think they gonna say to that, D-Ray?
Hey, I think that they have no choice but just to admit that they man, by whoever is the chances is too great for them to not know the outcome to make the fight, or like you said, they're gonna be lying, saying Bud is lying because what he said was, what did EJ say about what I said? Nothing. And I want to ask you this question.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say it was reverse. Let's say it was Earl that came out and made all these statements about why the fight wouldn't happen. How long do you think it would have took Crawford to respond to that?
I think he would have jumped on it early because we've seen when he said "Don't lie, dude." He jump on it. Crawford. What I would say that he does, I call it nice nasty. And this is what I was taught by an OG female in the Navy. She said, "Girl, you better always be nice nasty, because you got to be a lady at all times, right?" And I'm not saying he got to be a lady, but I think this is applicable to men too. You can tell somebody off by just simply telling the truth. Nice nasty. Get to the crux of it. You know what I'm saying? That's what that means. You gonna put some shit in my lap. I'm gonna pick that shit up and put it right back in your lap. Now it's your turn. What you gonna do
And
next?
and the one thing though that you made such a great point on is all the time when Earl knew that they was lies out there and he never said anything. Like you said, that's the nice nasty because then his fans just get into it where they say, "Yeah, we got him now," and then when they see that was smoke and mirrors and politics of boxing,
Mm-hmm.
because like you said, it ain't about the money, and people want to say, "Hey, well, it could be $100 million fight." Well, then offer the man what you should for a fighter in a 50-50 $100 million fight. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and the thing is, right? I keep asking them, how can y'all build up the fight if y'all tearing down one of the fighters?
I
You
don't know.
know,
That's a good point. That's an excellent point. And that is something that Errol Spence have struggled with. Because if you look at everybody he fights, he puts them down before the fight even starts. If you're really trying to be like Mayweather wait till you sign the contract. Then he talks shit about present stuff, like what I'm going to do. He don't talk shit like it's a done deal. It's a matter of fact. What did Earl say about Sean Porter? He couldn't sell a ham sandwich or some shit like that. He ain't nothing, blah, 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 all this bullshit. But then after he fights them, now his resume is so grandiose. Oh, I fought Sean Porter. I mean, when people love you so much that their love for you, or maybe their love for the PBC, evokes hate to another person when you can't even see common sense or logic or rationally explain some shit or understand some shit. I don't know what the fuck that is. Because like you said, if it was reversed, I would be saying the same. I would be saying that about Terrence. Like, dude, what is you doing?
ATL. Somebody put the back call out for ATL. He got some explaining to do.
Yeah, he ain't gonna, because you know what they choose to do? They choose to talk about what I call fruitless battles. They choose to get in fruitless battles or moot points. I'm not gonna go back and forth with a fruitless battle. If they are all prize fighters, and that's the profession they chose, and it has been told to you by at least 3 people, nothing is going down this year, and I'm not beholden to them, then why are you mad that I'm doing something this year? How am what I'm doing December 10th gonna stop anything that the PBC, Earl, and Floyd say for next year?
Right.
Explain that one.
And see, and here's the thing though, right? is that they kept making it seem like it was going to be this year until the last offer. And then that's when he said, I can't write the whole year off. Let me go, make sure we have good holidays. You know what I mean?
Exactly. You asking this man to forego himself. He doing bad business. How is that bad business? There is no business this year. He is not in a contract with PBC. Tell me how that is bad business. I'm not in a contract with you. I know you from this show. We don't have no business affiliation. But what is it that I can do where I'm doing bad business with you if I'm not in business with you?
And here's the other thing though, like you said, they ain't paid them nothing and they ain't promoted them. If anything, they try to say, oh well, this and that and that and this, instead of everything but make the fight, like they said.
Yeah. They don't want to fight him this year, fine. I'm even taking off the negative connotation. Like, you ain't hearing me say Earl Duck. I mean, I believe what I believe, but I don't even need to go that far to say that. PBC right. And Earl and Floyd, they didn't want to fight this year. That's fine. That's their choice. I can side with Earl on this. He don't have to do what I want him to do or what the fans want. He don't have to.
Right.
But y'all made a choice not to do shit this year. You don't own this man. He can do what the fuck he want to do. Just like Earl could so-called do what the fuck he want to do. But now we got to raise the eyebrow on that. Because he swore up and down that he was not going to fight Keith Thurman. But kind of looking like
get him.
You about to be in a fight with Keith Thurman. And although I'm a fan of Keith Thurman, I am. And I like Errol Spence too. I've supported him most of the time. I did not buy his fight this year. That would be the only fight I did not purchase of Errol Spence. But my protest is with PBC. And I ain't bending it for nobody. If I didn't bend it for Deontay Wilder, why would I bend it for Errol Spence? But yes, I'm going to buy the Terence Crawford fight because I'm not protesting Terence Crawford. I'm not protesting Golden Boy. I'm not protesting top rank Warren, what's his name? Queensberry, Frank Warren, Eddie Hearn, Matchroom. I'm not protesting any of them. I'm protesting PBC, and I think most people who watch the show know why. And I have stood 10 toes down. We at the end of the year, and I said this shit back in January. And I've stood to my guns. I've stood 10 toes down. I have not been. I'm not behind no fight. And y'all know it's Deontay Wilder country over here. If I ain't gonna buy it for him, I ain't gonna buy it for Earl.
Bomb squad.
Exactly. Bomb squad. Nothing personal, Earl. If I wasn't protesting PBC, I'd be buying your fight. Mad at the fact that you ain't fighting Bud. But I don't even need to call you a duck or anything. I don't even need to do that anymore because what y'all doing is atrocious. And the lies of it all. Like do anybody got the answer as to when that leak conversation, phone conversation, when was that conversation taking place? Has anybody went to his page or maybe his baby mama page to find out if his daughters went to Disney World and when was that? To I'm sure now that I said that if they had it up, because I didn't, but if they had it up, have they probably taken it down? Because that'll give you an idea as to when that phone conversation took place.
Yeah, and here's the thing though that I think is the saddest part of all though, right? Is I talk to so many fans, and for one moment, I just want to also remember the fans that wanted to see the fight that didn't get to see the fight. They didn't make it to today, and they was like I want to see that fight, and there's millions of us that want to see this fight. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
and a lot of people, they love to say, I'm tired of talking about it. I don't want to talk about it no more. We done talking about it after this. But then they come back tomorrow and they say Bud Crawford, blah blah blah. And I just was like, man, he just, and that's the thing, right? They say that he didn't make money or sell, but he sure the hell made people money on YouTube. So they they ought to drop him 10%. But I want to say this though,
Mhm.
is that so many people though, they was like, the fight been taking too long. I'm gonna give them this year, 2022. They was holding out hope to get the fight,
Mhm.
and for them to wait until the last minute to try to switch it to next year. I just
Yeah.
think, just those fans that was holding out hope, like I talked to like all of them basically was like, if it don't happen this year, they wasn't going even want to talk about it anymore, or and that's the thing though, right? So many people called it the biggest fight in boxing. It's the biggest fight in YouTube, I know that for sure, but I thought it was the best fight in boxing. But
Yeah.
soon there would be a Tank Davis versus Shakur, or what I mean, another fight, set of fighters that
Mhm.
would be the best fight. It'll still be a good fight and a great fight, but will it be, the best fight where you got all the build up? And for this thing to, at the 11th hour have the plug pulled, and like you said, Bud have to go, try something that nobody has done before. At least I don't know of, but I know AB trying to, do his little Snoop part of it though.
Yeah. Yeah. And AB, we can when we
I want you
reflect
at the
back.
fight, Queen. Queen, I want you at the fight though. You know what I mean?
What you call them?
I I know it's a dream, but I'm just saying I could just
Yeah.
imagine you at the fight. You know what I'm talking
I
about?
would
I
have a
mean,
good time.
a good time. You right about that. That's why
It
I
just
love your platform. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, if it's in Texas, I would not be. But if it's somewhere neutral, I would. Cause it's just a fight, y'all. And at the end of the day, I'm a fan. That's it. I have my opinions like everybody else. What Bud do or don't do don't make me shit. Or same thing for Errol Spence. But Bud is one of my favorite fighters. I like how he comport himself in the ring and out the ring. I met the man twice. He's a gentleman and I like him, So, and I don't have a problem. Earl is not a bad guy. Don't take y'all out there. Don't take it as me saying Earl is a bad guy. But there's certain things that he's responsible for, and he doesn't live up to his responsibilities. When you allow negativity and lies to downgrade or devalue another person for no apparent reason, that's wrong. I'm happy that both of y'all brothers is making money, but you fucking with his money when you allowing that. Because people probably won't try to support Terrence because they love Earl so much. But that's okay. Terrence is showing you. This is why you want to get your money up front. You can't count on no pay-per-view.
Yeah.
What did he say? Everybody keeps saying, even Jerry back in the day was like, oh, they streaming. Okay, fine. All I said to that was, if you ain't gonna use it for Canelo as an excuse, don't use it for Bud and Earl as an excuse. But if
Mm.
that's what people want to run with, that's fine. But
But
you
but
know
but but
what?
now
Getting his
hold on. But
upfront money.
yes, ma'am. But I want to ask you this question though, real quick, because now you bring up pay per view, and this is a part of the challenge that I think Bud has also had, is that he's never had what I would consider a pay per view fight. And what I mean by that is I don't think you've ever been able to press a button to buy the fight. You know,
Yeah.
like Bob would have T.O. He had pay per view fights, but
Mhm.
Bud, you had to get an app. and then you could buy the fight. And you had to get Disney Plus, then you could buy the fight. And I'm just like, when you have whatever number amount of people that will go to 2 or 3 steps just to make sure they see that fight, that's dedication for the fans, though. So especially when it's so easy for people to stream it. But go ahead, Queen. I apologize.
No, you good. You good. I was cutting through. It's to the ear. It really depends on the ear of the person listening. Like if that person hears this and they say, well, it wasn't difficult for me, don't make excuses. That's an argument. If other people say that it wasn't easy to acquire, it was a lot of mishap. I've tried to use that app a couple of times and was knee deep in the fucking show before it fucking worked. And I was going through changes instead of, like you said, press a button, which would have been a lot easier. Now, up until after Terence Crawford left, you have seen Top Rank utilize the ESPN Plus app a little bit more frequent. He even had free fights on there instead of pay-per-view. Hold on one second.
Y'all take the time to smash that like button, subscribe, and share on all the platforms.
Yeah, hit that like button. And if you ain't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Sorry, my daughter was asking me something. But yeah, like that app is not user friendly. That's all I can say. If somebody else say that's not an excuse, I accept that answer. But at the same time, you at the leading up to Bud and up until he left, that's the only one you put on there. You got the ESPN deal on the strength of Bud. You ain't get it on the strength of Tyson Fury, but you put him on the app. And you click after you did it once, you should have saw that it won't user friendly. It was better for you to just do regular ESPN pay-per-view. We don't know what could have happened, but if some people say we ain't taking that excuse, I'm cool with it. I accept it. We're gonna see how easy or not this Black Prime app is, and I hope they work out all the kinks if they got any kinks. And I predict, and I could be wrong, that $39.95 will bring everybody out to the yard, because we can fuck that off in a week. Gas and McDonald's. Boom, $39 gone, $40 gone. You know what I'm saying? So people are probably more willing. I remember the days when fights were like $40, $50 or whatever. Floyd Mayweather ushered in these $100 pay-per-views, $75 pay-per-views. And PBC, a fuck up on y'all's part does not generate an emergency on ours. You guys fucked up the bag. You guys fucked up the business. That don't mean the fans have to assume the risk and take in, all y'all fuck ups and course correct y'all fuck ups. No, that's not our job. What happened to the customer is always right. Is that fleeting now? Is that a thing of the past? Not for me. My money is green just like everybody else's money is green. And if PBC want to continue to do what they're doing, I can't support them. It's a principle for me. I can't support a organization that's lying and putting themselves above the product. The product is the fighter. It's prize fighting. They go through enough for you not to even pay them reasonably, and then don't even offer them opportunities. Every year football comes out, there's a Super Bowl. What if one year they said we're not doing a Super Bowl? Y'all would lose y'all mind. Or NBA Finals. We're not going to do the playoffs and all that. People lose their mind. I could go on and on and on. But in boxing, some kind of way, due to the politics and the narratives and the stupidity, we can't go to our own Super Bowl. People, they may try to be a champion, but then if they don't make champion, then they talk shit like Brian did. Oh, belts don't mean nothing. Yeah, because you ain't got one. You ain't got a belt, so of course it don't mean nothing. But if you had a belt, And if you look at your shit on your social media, you always standing there with somebody, Belt. So what's the tomfoolery here? And since when is it not a desired thing to become undisputed? I don't get it. And then you already know it's hating because every time they talk about Bud's resume or what Bud has done, they don't want to talk about nothing he did before. Well, just because Errol Spence only really been in one division, that don't mean everybody got to be on his standards. That don't mean that you judge people according to his standards. He could have been in multiple divisions. He didn't want to. I'm not knocking him. I'm not even saying that he can't be considered one of the all-time greats if just staying in one division. But that's a choice he made. Ain't nobody stopping him from going through the different divisions. Ain't nobody saying it took him, it needed to take 10 years for you to get the 3 belts you got. So I'm like, what's the deal? General Big Fish is in the building. What's poppin', King? He said, I've been missing you, T. What up? What up? Y'all know I just came back from a funeral, so I buried my nephew, and it all went the way it's supposed to. Forever. Yeah. I'm good. He was like a son to me. I always had a little. That's my little twin, but
that's beautiful. It's beautiful when you have a relationship like that. You know what I mean? And so that's always something to cherish. The times we had, like these, with me being able to talk with you, and she just tearing Earl and Al up. I'm just loving it. Go ahead, though.
I know General Big Fish probably missed her. I don't know if you missed some of that stuff, General, but I just spoke to
No, just click the link. Just have him click the link, come up here and say what. I want him to.
I heard him on the Tizoo the other day. Thank you, General Big Fish. He said, my condolences to you and your family. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know. It definitely changed me because I'm trying to be more positive, especially to the youth. My nephew was 20 years old.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Right. And so that's my little twin right there. And I'm just so sad for my brother. That's his baby, as he said, my baby boy. And so, and some days I take it one day at a time. I'm gonna try to be here every day. I'm just pretty much getting back, and but then if I have a day where I just can't talk, I won't talk. I won't ever do the fluff stuff. And
just keep investing in them youth, though. That's what we're gonna try to do. We're gonna make a positive out of this in the memory.
Exactly.
Yes, ma'am. God bless.
Oh, General, I didn't know if you had any kids. He said, I'm at the gym with my son. That's right. That's right. Spend that time with y'all sons.
Like a dad. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know what I always say? If your kid around me and you ain't around, I'm your mama. That's what I always tell people. And I'm going to be a mama just like I'm going to be a mama. If your kid around me, I'm your mama for the 2 hours or however long their mom ain't present. But that's how I always do things. And I think all of us should be like that. When you're the adult on the scene, be the adult on the scene. Be the parent on the scene. Until the parent is, it's there. It takes a village. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I was sitting back watching and everything. I was like, what? But like I said, that narrative, somebody needs to come and explain that Bud was asking for $25 million. That was a straight fucking lie. And I need some of these Errol fans or whoever put that shit out to come out and admit that you lied. Because that's what you did. Ask and offer is two different things, as I said earlier. Bud was offered. That's why we didn't know what Errol was offered or asked for. Because Bud was offered. Who made that shit into he asked for? Therefore, he's pricing himself out. Therefore, he's ducking. Therefore, he don't want the fight. You see how that whole shit changed just by putting the word ask when really he was offering. And if you, PBC, is so willing to take other people's money, what's the difference between that person's money and that person's money? USDA dollars is the same no matter who hand is in. So, I just don't get it, And if they decided that 2023 ain't the year for them, so be it. I'm not even gonna call Earl a duck or PBC or none of them. I'm just looking at it like, oh, well, that's your choice. But unless you show me a contract where you own Bud, he can do what the fuck he want to do. Why would anybody be mad? Unless you can show me that Bud fighting December 10th is going to derail or mess up a fight in 2023. What you talking about? What you really mad about? It's time to come out and say what you really mad about. He outsmarts you. That's I don't know if anybody experienced that. Whenever you step out the realm of what somebody has deemed you to be, people actually get upset. Have you ever experienced that, D-Ray?
Yes, ma'am. And both ways too. And that's the thing about this that has me so captivated is that on one hand, Earl was the do everything he say guy, and now all of a sudden, once that gets flipped, you know what I mean, and it really look like, they ain't gonna talk about that, because they don't want to say nothing about and that's where they trapped at though, right? You got Keith Thurman, you got Boots Ennis, or you got Stank Up On Us. And that's why I keep telling them, man, y'all gonna get Stank Up On Us, bro. I mean, what's his name? David Abernethy. I think that he could possibly beat Stank Up On Us if they fought in Bud and on Bud and Earl undercard. I don't know. Yes, ma'am.
Are you making it funny when you said Stank Up On Us?
Yeah,
that's funny.
To me, it is.
That's funny because I was like, standing on us. He just
That's
stank
him.
Up on us. Stank, stank man.
I just had never seen him fight, right? So until we see him fight, we got to laugh and whatever. But I know that he got paid step aside money by Earl because he was supposed to be fighting you guys. And Earl said, hey, I'm going to pay you when he could have been fighting Bud then. Remember, people was like, if the fight is great, it don't have to be undisputed every time. That's where, like what you're saying, as far as like football has a Super Bowl, but like the plays ain't always ran the same, and so I just think that like in boxing, it's individual. These guys gotta, they put their life on the line, so they gotta get everything that is worth to them. And the more they win and the more they get money, the more that it's gonna cost for them to get out the silk sheets and start sweating and get out there and fighting them.
But you know what? It would be almost laughable if it weren't sad, because it does affect some people negatively or adversely. But boxing is like a soap opera, and as a former soap opera watcher, because I was CBS all day. Young and the Restless, Bold and Beautiful, as the word turn, got like.
Oh man, she got the whole schedule.
The whole lineup. I know all that story.
I was there for the main event, but I don't know about the schedule. But go ahead, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Since I was a child. In fact, in my in my 20s, I orchestrated my life around the soap operas. And then, of course, as a young person, I did what young people did. I partied, I went out and all that stuff. However, I taped, because you had the VCR. So I take my soaps every day, and I binge watch that shit on the weekend. You better believe I was a soap opera head. But that's what this boxing is like. It's starting to be like a soap opera, and that's what keeps people kind of interested in the politics of it. I think Fish alluded to that a long time ago, a couple of few shows ago, when he was on one time.
But here's the other thing though, that real quick, I just want to say this, that I think is unique to the soap opera, especially this year. The ladies have had the best fights.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
When you had the best fighting against the closest competition, it was with the ladies. For me, it still is Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor's fight of the year. I know that's different than everybody else, but that's what I like. But I do got a question for you about women's boxing real quick. Now,
Right.
if because people always say they want 3-minute rounds. I always say, well, I would probably rather have 12 rounds first. Which one do you think would have a bigger impact, and what would you like to see, if any, improvement in women's boxing, with the time and rounds?
How I will say this year with the couple of fights like Franchon Cruz and them, Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano, Clarissa Shields card, these two cards have changed my calculus a little bit
Baumgartner. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
About the 2-minute rounds, because what I don't like is rock'em sock'em, but I wouldn't like it for the men neither. And if the concern is about head injury or concussions, then you don't want a rock'em sock'em. But in 2 minutes, that's all you was getting. And I was like, y'all got about 3 years of this shit, then you gotta sit your ass down somewhere. But I do still would love to see, because even the ladies want it, 3-minute rounds, but you got to shorten the amount of rounds, because it is a fact, that men physically are more durable and last longer than women. That's just a medical fact.
Great point. But now, so how many rounds would you like to take it down to? 7, 5, or what?
No, I think you could just drop it to 10 rounds. 10 would be the equivalent of y'all 12. You know what I'm saying? That would be the top. The most y'all go is 12. The most a woman should go is 10. They could do 8. They could do, you could do 4 rounds. You could do 3. It depends on where you are in your career. But 10 should be the max that a woman do with 3-minute rounds. It's gonna make you box. I don't like watching boxing for just the phone booth and the rock of soccer. I want to see the sweet science of it. I want to see you set traps and you just be that fucking smooth with your shit. And I think anybody who watching boxing want to see that, because anybody can stand there and just punch and punch and punch each other. What would be the point of jump roping? What would be the point of putting that work on the road? What would be the point of learning how to jab properly and move around, lateral movement, going fighting out the back foot and doing a whole lot of stuff? What would be the point of learning all that shit if you're going to get in the ring and rock 'em, sock 'em? That just defeats the purpose,
Little G style.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What I got my boy.
Yeah, go ahead.
I got my boy Bold and Understanding in the building. Was Papa King? What say you, Bo? Have you been listening?
Hey, what's going on? Nah, I just hopped on.
Oh, okay. We was talking about, you seen my title? Terence Crawford exposed the PBC, Spence, and others for the lies they tell. He did a beautiful job last night. I showed a video of an old movie clip of Nell Carter in this movie called Modern Problems, when she put the damn shit, the demon powder around Chevy Chase, trying to box him in. It was like, now if he touched that, he dead. And I was like, that's pretty much what they was trying to do to Bud. But what you meant for bad turned good for him, and he wound up boxing them in, I think. So what say you on the situation?
You talking about the video Bud drop?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we all knew what it was, It is, PBC and Spence didn't want to do anything with Bud even before he left Top Rank. They ain't wanted to do with him. Maybe Spence might have won something now that he got that third belt, but he ain't really want to have nothing to do with trying to fight Bud, you know. And it's already been said before the whole negotiation went down. I think it was I forgot who it was. The dude that be dropping the numbers and stuff on the pay-per-views. He basically came out and said they're gonna try to lowball Terence Crawford and make it look like, you know, so if Terence Crawford was to turn down the lowball, they're gonna make it look like Terence Crawford didn't want to fight.
He
And
called
they
that bluff.
he called, yeah. Rick Glazer, that's who said it. Rick Glazer, he said that.
Yeah.
And then they lowballed Terence Crawford, and he took the offer, and they still said this fight ain't happening until like further down the line. I mean, Floyd Mayweather said that, but then like I don't know what they expect Crawford to do, like not fight forever. You know what I'm saying? Now they try to flip the script and say, well, Crawford, if you worry about fighting this year, why didn't you fight earlier this year? Like the shit doesn't even make any sense when they say that. Because at the end of the day, these guys were in negotiation, and Terence Crawford was under the impression that the fight was going to take place this year around, you know, this time frame. And now that is not, and they want to push it off. What do they think Terence Crawford going to do? He needs to take a stay busy fight, you know? And on top of that, you know, he said he's getting paid more than what the PBC is offering.
Exactly. They act like they can't understand that, Bo. But I know all of us in this world, if you live to be a certain age, God willing, you didn't experience something that, you know, you had something sold up, but it wasn't coming to a later date. But in the meantime and in between time, you had to, you know, had to make ends meet, or you had to do something to hold you to that date. You know, like if you was if like my daughter wants to be a teacher, when she goes to get her job, when she finished school, it's gonna be kind of in the middle of the school year. So she can't start in the middle of the school year with the job. That's not how teaching works. If she gets a job, it won't be till the school year starts up again. So what do she do in the meantime and in between time? They act like they can't understand this. Bud was not beholden to the PBC. They don't own him. So what's the anger for? And I do want you to address the biggest lie, the biggest nugget that he dropped to me. This is my opinion. You remember, not that long ago, these content creators kept saying Bud was asking for $25 million, and he was pricing himself out. Therefore, he ducking. Therefore, he don't want to fight. And when what really was happening is Bud was offered. That word, just taking the word offered, and replacing it with ask, changed that whole meaning of that phrase. And they ran with that shit as it was a matter of fact. And it was not. And where was they getting these sources from? Who was telling them this? First of all, I thought it was a lie because you only had information on Bud. You don't even like Bud. Who on Bud's camp or Bud himself gonna tell you shit? You don't even like him. And he knows it. Can you address that?
Oh, about the 25. Yeah, I wonder who dropped that.
It was a lot of people saying that shit like it was a matter of fact. I ain't gonna call no names, but you know the usual suspects. But it was a lot of people dropping.
Oh yeah,
shit.
yeah. I want to be surprised. I mean, the thing is that even somebody like Teofimo Lopez exposed a lot of these YouTubers too, because he said I'm going to start naming YouTubers that are getting paid by promotional companies to put out a lot of false information. Because he said that in his last fight. He said when he interviewed with I think it was Fight Hype or somebody. He said a lot of y'all be putting out some bullshit and y'all getting paid to do it. And he said he's going to start exposing a lot of them.
Do tell, Teofimo. Do tell. Because I would love to hear that. because there's no call for it, or common sense, when Earl says stuff, it's common sense. But as I was saying earlier, Bo, I was saying that lies can come in all different ways. You can tell a lie, you can omit a lie, you can omit something that's a lie, and you can let lies be told on your behalf and don't try to correct it. That's also a lie. Would you say that Errol Spence engaged in that?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think he engaged in to the point that he allowed the lies to be told and he just don't say anything. Because it benefits him on his behalf pretty much.
He does it a lot. And that Errol Spence, because every time I talk about him, this is what I think of. Let me show. Let me see the picture. Damn, where is it at? Damn. I just had it. Oh, right here. Every time you see your picture.
The Nutcracker.
Yeah. That's Errol Spence, ladies and gentlemen. Big Fish, that's your boy. He's a liar. That guy right there is a liar. And the truth ain't in him. He's not an honest broker. Because you wouldn't let lies be spread on your behalf. All you got in this world, and Bo, you know this, is your name and your credibility. That's all you have. And you fuck that off, what you got?
Yeah, you ain't got nothing.
You ain't gonna be able to get nothing either. But that's what I was talking about today. The lies, the hypocrisy of it all. And and I'm glad that Bud came out and said what he had to say. He explained a lot. You kind of can get a picture of how the narrative really went. And there are gonna be people who believe him. There are gonna be people who don't. That goes without saying. But what we can't get in our feelings about, or even try to have an opinion about, here's a couple of facts. That fight wasn't happening this year. You heard that from Earl in Elite Conversation, which is Exhibit 1. Also, Mayweather's saying that the fight happened later down the line, Exhibit 1. That's also 1A or whatever. And then PBC. All of them had the date of 2023. So 2022 was nothing. There was going to be no prize fight for Bud unless he made one. And if he is not in a binding contract where he is owned, let them tell it he's a slave, a Toby or whatever. He's not beholden to BBC. He can do what he want to do. He's an independent contractor. So I don't see what the uproar is about. I always say if it wasn't about the money, then what is the anger about? Because if Bud said he brought investors, presented that to Earl, and Earl walked away, he presented it to Al and he walked away, then it's not about the money. So what are they mad at? And what is it about? I
It's
happen to
probably about control, pretty much.
yeah. I think they need to use Errol Spence and whoever they got over there as leverage to secure a network deal. All that talk about Bud don't got nobody. He ain't got no network. He a man with no land. Remember how Errol Spence used to say that shit? You a man with no land. Earl, you about to be a man with no land. Real quick. You about to be and so the same people you see going up is be the same people you see coming down. So it behooves everybody to act accordingly. Stop lying. Stop.
Now, now I wanna touch on something too. So I noticed when Crawford was speaking, and he said Al Heyman basically had a lawyer that said he represented Terence Crawford. And Terence Crawford was like, I don't even know that dude. Like, So to me,
Exactly.
it's almost like they pulled remember that show Making a Band with P. Diddy and all that other stuff?
Yeah.
It's almost like they try to pull that one of those moves on Crawford. Like, hey,
Yeah.
just sign here. I got you your own lawyer.
Exactly. Like, he might as well have represented himself. He'll have a fool for a client,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
But it's just they want to what it is, Bo. They have convinced themselves that he is dumb, that he don't know anything, and he don't make smart business moves. In fact, every time he makes a business move, that I don't see how you call it dumb. He wasn't gonna have a fight this year. He made a fight for himself this year. That's not derailing or interfering in nothing that the PBC said that they wanted. So be it. He made a fight, and he's gonna get paid way more than he did before. Now that's the dumbest move he can make. Ain't nobody said he signed to Black Crime for the rest of his life. One minute they said they wanted him to get from under the top rank. Leave your dude. Leave him and be by yourself or come over to the PBC. But then the next minute they talking about he ain't got a promoter, as if that's the only way he can make it, as if he got a promoter. Mayweather didn't have a promoter, and look at what he did in the latter part of his
Exactly.
career.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And another thing I didn't understand too is I don't understand how Errol Spence is asking for a back end on a $25 million guarantee.
mm-hmm.
That, that
that
that's crazy.
that wouldn't have even been a question. You know why? Because you're gonna get a split. But here's the thing: when I be telling people that I feel like they wanted him to fight for free, I feel like that's kind of probably what they did to Logan Paul. See, you worried about the back end, something that is a maybe, something that you can't see. The whole grid in the United States could have went out and nobody had the pay-per-view. Then what you gonna do? You think the fight ain't gonna go on? It's still gonna go on, but then you only can rely on the gate. Anything can happen, You have to meet a benchmark because they have expenditures and expenses. If they don't meet that benchmark and then some, then you're not splitting shit. So like if the benchmark is, let's say, 50 million, then and the fight made 53 million, then you and Errol is splitting 3 million. Because that's how it works. Like you got to meet that bitch. That part of that money will, rain, snow, sleet, or hail, go back to the investors and whoever helped put that shit together. And the extra is going to be split between the two fighters. But you're not guaranteed that extra. So the best thing you can do as a fighter is to get your money up front. At least you're getting paid. If you don't get no money up front, then you fighting for free. Is that a somewhat accurate description?
That's how I understood it.
Yeah, but people act like they don't understand that. And that's what, like, I don't even get mad at it no more. It's their career. I'm not even mad at Earl. It's his career to do what he want with it. But he can never stand on a grandiose scale, a stage with Crawford. And it's getting to the point where Errol Spence ain't gonna be able to hold Terence jockstrap. You know what I'm saying? He not gonna. There's no comparison. That's just how I feel. You can't serve two masters. You be too much into some bullshit instead of worrying about doing what you should do. I ain't even say the right thing. What's right for you is right for you. But like the other guy said, you constantly trying to put down somebody else, trying to stand on somebody's shoulders to make yourself bigger, and you the one that's fucking up all the time. You not handling business. Everything they said about Terence, they were projecting, in my opinion. They really talking about Earl, and that's why they mad, because Terence won't be this clown that they try to portray him as, and they mad about that. He doing bad business. He's not in business. They didn't want to do business.
And this dude's getting hate. You know who was hating on him too?
Who?
Nonito Delnez's wife, basically saying, "Oh, why do you need to see transparency when you're not even you don't even have a promoter and stuff like that. Like she said this on the Boston Voice yesterday, and I'm
She
sitting here listening, and she talking about she's a manager and she knows business, and well, she probably does, but she doesn't know Terence Crawford's business. You know what I'm saying? So I don't even understand
she
them.
but she wanted to know transparency when it came to her husband too. I don't care if it's transparency on whether the drugs they taking or whatever. What you got? Somebody could say, "What do y'all have to do with another man's body?" But you wanted to know transparency. You wanted to know for your husband's sake. But she's also friends. I ain't knocking her. I ain't even mad at her. But she's friends with those folks. She's good buddies with them. She go on their shows, and so and that could be it. The bias of it all. I don't see if Bob was handling business with Al Heyman, wouldn't Bob want to see the books on how things was working for that particular fight, not the books on everything that PBC does, but for the fight that they're in contract with for them. Bob would want to say, "Let me see the books. Open up the books." Well, Terence Crawford is essentially Bob. He's essentially Mayweather. He's essentially Golden Boy. He's essentially Eddie Hearn. He's his own promoter. So you have to show him the books when it concerns him. If it's concerning other people and no, but when it concerns him. But people act like he don't. Again, they happy when he doing bad and he can't get a good fair shake. that's what their value of him tells them, that he needs to be in those type of predicaments. And then when he complain about it later, they'll be like, "That's your dumb ass fault. You want him to be dumb, but the nigga ain't dumb." And that's their problem. ATL's in the building. He said, Ish, I'm on y'all ass tonight, shawty. Salute, queen. You ain't on our ass, shawty. We speaking facts. I haven't even caught Bo. I don't even need to call Earl a duck or none of that shit. Even though I've said that before, I don't need to call him one. If they don't want to fight this year, I'm not mad. Don't fight this year. But you can't hold this man up from his career. He can do what he want. And I need somebody to come in, I've said it, explain why Terence Crawford don't have a right to do what he want. And then also tell me about what he decided to do. How does that conflict with what PBC decided to do? And nobody can tell me that. And they ain't gonna be able to tell me that. So that's all I was talking about. I've been looking and I've been watching. There've been some good nuggets, but like I said, the best nugget of all, I wish I'd have cataloged it, but all the many people that said Terence Crawford was asking for $25 million, you guys were lying through your teeth. You were lying, because that was never the case. He was offered. And just when you take the word offered out and put ask, and you got a whole bullshit ass front row seat to some bullshit narrative. Just by switching two words. Offered and asked. Look at ATL.
Yep. You know what's so crazy too is when Crawford had announced, well, he ain't announced it, but when it was announced that Crawford was fighting David Avanesian, this dude Crawford received so much hate on the internet by other black men that normally say they for black men, black people, but Crawford is hated on by other black men. It had dudes crying on their videos talking about boycott this fight. They cursing out, "Oh, I can't believe," like people was mad at Blue Blood Sports TV because he said Crawford was doing, something with black crime. And they got mad with him. And then you got that one dude, like he comes on your panel sometimes. He was sitting up there getting all mad. "Oh, yeah, boycott this fight. And dude literally said he called himself an aerosexual. He called himself an aerosexual on his own video.
Mm.
I said, "Oh my God."
Who is that? You say he come on my panel?
Yeah, he comes on your panel. Because I remember one time, a long time ago, I was on there with him and we was talking about the whole Crawford thing. But the dude's like, he's extra sensitive. It's kind of hard to discuss with that dude. But yeah, the dude called himself an aerosexual, and then he said boycott the fight. I said, "Oh my God, man."
I would never boycott the fight. He said, Miss T, no, ain't no hate here, man. There all day though. ATL, you can't explain some of this stuff. I doubt if you can, because it's common sense. It's common sense, and you don't want it to be. Y'all, I don't know about you, ATL, but most Earl fans do not want for the narrative to be what it really is. Bud never asked for 25 million. I want somebody to explain that. And why did they put that shit out? And why did Earl never came out to correct that shit? Easy fix. Hey, that 25 million is not true. Done. He could have tweeted that easy, but he didn't. He let that shit take wings and fly. That's what he could have came out with the truth off the dick, and he didn't. ATL. And that's why I have issues with your boy. Because he let a lot of shit slide that don't need to slide. And you got to ask, what is your motive for that? What is the point? ATL said, I can explain the duck. And I can explain the lame live he did yesterday. It's lame because you don't want to believe it. You can't explain it. Get out your feelings. Get out your feelings. I don't know how you duck somebody that you ain't had a fight scheduled for this year. It ain't his fault that the fight didn't happen this year. Earl said it in the phone conversation that y'all love so much. Floyd Ben said it, and PBC said it. So 3 people on Team Spence said no fight till 2023. What's hard about that? Bud didn't say he walking away from the negotiation. You can't expect this man to sit on his thumbs for the rest of the year. What contract that he have where Al Heyman owns him that I'm not aware of? Please enlighten us. What bad business that he did that I'm not aware of? Go ahead, Bo.
And truthfully, I don't even know how Spence fans could get mad. And I'm not talking about ATL, but just in general. Bud been chasing Spence for the past 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And Spence fans had nothing but excuses and excuses and excuses. But they expect Spence to fight. They expect Bud to fight Spence when Spence is ready. You know what I'm saying? Like, after 4 years of Bud chasing Spence, they didn't expect this, they said, oh, yeah, Crawford need to go fight somebody else. Mm-hmm. But it's only when Spence is ready, they think, oh, okay, now this fight should happen. And if Bud don't want the fight, then he's ducking. So mm-hmm. they can't explain the past 4 years what Spence was doing. He was ducking the whole time.
No, they can't explain it. They don't want to explain it. They rather live in the fantasy world. ATL said he clearly lied and made his situation worse. What did he lie about? Do tell. What did he lie about? I'm curious. What did he lie about? Bud always said he wanted to fight this year. PBC said they're not giving him one. So what did he lie about? He didn't even know the name of his new company. Come on, you splitting hairs. You splitting hairs. He was tongue-tied. What is that? Come on, ATL. What was that? You really don't have an answer. It is plain and simple. PBC said no fight this year. So tell me, how did Bud choose? How is choosing a fight this year is in conflict with what PBC says? Your boy Earl said it. on the phone call. Floyd said it. PBC said it. Enlighten us. You cannot. You cannot. Unless there's a contract, again, that I'm not aware of that makes Bud beholden to PBC. I don't know anybody who don't have business together, holding out. How is that the right thing to do? Like I said, if I get a job and they say it don't start till August, but it's fucking November right now, what you want me to do between November and August? I can do what the fuck I want to do. I'm on my time. I can do anything I want to do. How do y'all not understand that? And then ATL, what you saying? He tongue-tied, so you laugh. Yeah, he was tongue-tied. That ain't even nothing worth mentioning. He said, I'm letting my phone charge about 10 minutes. I'll be on. Now, I ain't going to be here that long because I've been on like 2 hours, over 2 hours. And the Mac Mob is on, so y'all head over there. But that's all I was talking about, Bo. I was just amazed at the tomfoolery that was going on and people acting like they don't understand common sense. I'm no longer mad. It's evidently clear PBC's stance and Errol's stance. They can't climb their way out of this shit. To me,
Oh no,
it's evidently clear. Y'all mad about something. And when Bud said, I had an offer and I brought the offer to Errol because everybody's like, why you ain't just call Errol? He said it. Now, Errol, come out and say that Terence didn't call you. Please do. I dare you. I double dare you. Come out and say that Terence didn't call you. I bet you he'd be on there rebutting it real quick. Because you ain't gonna do it because you know how Terence is. He called you. You walked away from it in the end of the day. He called Al. Al said he not letting nobody touch it. So it's not about the money. So if it's not about the money, what's it about?
It's probably more about the money for Al Heyman because I guess he don't want to share, the profit. I guess I don't know.
We can't even say that because he takes money from everybody else. What, Bud money don't spend?
But one thing I noticed about PBC is when they got their fighters and their opponents they're fighting, the opponents that they fighting, they ain't getting jack anything.
Mm-hmm.
And the star fight getting it all. Because like if you look at Tank Davis, this is the reason why Tank Davis don't, in my eyes, don't really have a big fight since Pedraza. Because think about it, he fought Eastside Cruz, right? They thought Eastside Cruz was like a trade pick that almost went wrong. To be totally honest with you. And Eastside Cruz ain't get paid a lot for that fight at all. He
didn't, but he got paid more than he ever probably got paid before.
He did, and that's how they do it. They find somebody that's why I think when Leonard Ellaby, when they was asking him about a fight with Devin, Tank and Devin, and Leonard Ellaby was like, he was like, Devin makes a lot of good money. He said, will we pay him that much? Hell no. Because they lowball a lot of, fighters and whatnot just to make sure they star fighter get the bag pretty much.
And we heard the story of Lonnie B and others who was over there, who was talking. Go back and watch Barbershop Conversation with Lonnie B. And he can break down what they did to him. And I'm talking Floyd and them.
Oh yeah, I think he was on the Boxing Voice and he was talking about how he was getting jerked over as well.
Yeah. So now you're going to hear narratives, because I heard it already, about, but they offered that money a piece to Spence and Crawford. What about the undercard? How we going to pay? Well, I guess PBC can do their usual. Pay them peanuts. That's what they've been doing. If you take the weight of the top tier fighters off the table, as far as money is concerned, You mean to tell me PBC ain't even got what they pay the undercard? You and nobody said, they said they'll put up the money so that they can get 25 apiece. But negotiations, Al could have said, well, now, how about we get y'all 15 apiece and use the rest of that money for the undercard? And Al could have still got a percentage because he owned Errol Spence. But the investors would have got their money back. But either you're about the business of taking in investors or you not. The money is still the same. So since you can walk away from investors, but you can't then turn around and talk about it's the money aspect. You can't say that. You were able to get a fight where you ain't have to put up no money, but you stood to make some money. Why is that a problem? Why would these content creators say that Bud was asking for 25, but mum's the word on what Earl was asking when it was really Bud was offered? Those investors did not come to Errol Spence and say, hey, we'll offer you. Hey, Al, we'll offer you. They went to Bud, the person y'all say has no value. Is that what y'all mad at? Because he don't fit into the cookie cutter of representation y'all want to put him as? He has value when y'all want to say he don't got value? Is that why you mad? You say he dumb, but he outsmart y'all all the time? Is that why you mad? It's not about the money. Al Heyman and them, I believe, and I don't know this to be a fact, but I believe they need people like of Spence and Charlo and others to secure a network because they about to be a man with no land. That's what they about to be, as Errol Spence would say, a man with no land. And then what you gonna do? How good would it be to be a part of PBC? And if Adrian Broner makes a 180 or turns around, even if he makes like a 130 or 160, if he does that in his career, like he actually get in there and throw his hands and he's actually happy or whatever, then Adrian Broner was essentially throwing a grown man tantrum. I'm not saying it's right, but that's essentially what he was doing. But he was bitter or he was upset. And look, it's okay to be bitter. It's an emotion that humans have or animals have, period. Sometimes you can be bitter. If they're not doing him right, then of course he's going to be bitter. I would say this to all of y'all, don't never let nobody make you go through changes or put yourself in a pressure position because somebody say you bitter. Wear it with a badge of honor because that is a real emotion. And people can say and do things that make people bitter. So that's how I look at it. Adrian Broner was bitter. He threw a grown man tantrum with all the recent shenanigans. And when you pay him and do right by him, look how he act. He may lose. And this notion that fights can't be good because people may lose their get out of that. Y'all are not Floyd Mayweather. And y'all never gonna be. Be the best you. That's all that any of us can ask. And if you don't get it, man, try again. After all, tomorrow is another day. You know what I'm saying? But that's all I have, Bud. Bo, I keep calling you Bud. That's all I got, Bo. You in good company, right? You in good company. If I say Bud. But that's all I have. You have anything to close out?
Thanks for having me on. Yeah, I wish I'd have hopped on earlier, but I was kind of busy and whatnot. So, and I'm just coming off of sickness. I don't know what I had last week, but I lost my voice. I was real sick, like coughing, stuffed up, everything. It was really bad for your boy.
I live near a lot of nurses. They said that RSV thing was going around. A lot of people have been sick. Like my neighbor's kid was really sick. They was like doing everything they could not to put her in the hospital, but I'm glad she's getting better now. One of my neighbor friends, my neighbor nephew was sick too. And yeah, it's something going around. Y'all stay masked up. Because I would tell you this, pandemic or no pandemic, one thing I can definitely say about going through the experience of the pandemic, which I hope we never go through again, is that putting on a mask cut back on a lot of illnesses, period. I ain't talking about the COVID shit. I'm talking about the basic common flu and all that. Y'all should read the statistics on it. That shit has drastically went down from just wearing a mask. And I know it's probably irritating because I used to think like, man, if you wear a mask, how we gonna separate the criminals from the regular folks? But you can. It's what you do. You adapt and you overcome because you don't have to see a person whole face. You can learn a lot by looking at somebody's eyes or whatever. You know, yes, it's good to see the whole face. You get the full picture, but I don't think the mask deters from that. Because I always say, uh, mask is like hiding. To me, it's like a hiding thing. But now I'm acceptable of it, and I know that it does do well. It does do good for the overall good. Just cutting back, not counting COVID, but just cutting back. A lot of illnesses that people normally get every year, but it was good for COVID. So y'all stay masked up, drink plenty of water, basically stay hydrated, and eat as healthy as you can. One meal at a time. That's all you gotta do is take it one meal at a time. Even if you gotta change the way you eat all week, eat more healthier than you do. Like 5 days out the week, eat nothing but healthy food. 2 days out the week, that's when you fuck off and do what you want to do. Something like that. Just establish a routine like that. Just to feel better and be better. But that's all I have, Bo. Remember, when you know better, you're better. What was you gonna say?
Nah, I was gonna say I was gonna get ready to hop off, but I pop back on your next live though.
All right, hopefully I'll be here tomorrow. I was feeling good today. And then plus with all I was cutting the jig last night when Terence went live. I was loving it. So hopefully I'll be back tomorrow. I'm just getting back this week myself, and everything's okay. So I'll see you guys tomorrow, and peace in my Pamela James voice. That's my commercial. Sorry, but let me play it. Paid attention to that commercial. I've been playing it for a minute, but I am giving away a TV. Hopefully, I can give it away by Christmas. I need to get up to 1,200 subscribers before I get that away. And if they don't come out with the game that I bought my PS5 for, I was so lucky to get that. I have not opened it. I only want one game with it. What you know about that boxing game, Bo, that's supposed to be coming out on the PS5? Is it really coming out this year? I don't know. Anybody know about that? Because if it don't ever come out this year, and they say it ain't coming out till next year, I'm gonna raffle off my PS5. But I'm doing it for subscribers. So in the end of the day, until I see you guys again, please don't forget to hit the like, share, and subscribe. Subscribe if you haven't already. Remember, I come on Monday through Friday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, no matter what the thumbnail say, unless I'm busy or I got caught up or I'm just not myself that day. I would never do a podcast when I'm fluffing. So, till I see y'all tomorrow. Peace.